and welcome to Betty Crocker's Creative Cakes for Every Occasion. Have you ever been to a party where you saw a beautifully decorated cake and thought to yourself, "Now isn't that clever? I wish I knew how that was done." Well, we're going to show you that anyone can create clever cakes just by using a little imagination and some basic decorating techniques. Here are a few of the exciting cakes we'll show you how to create. Children's cakes. Cakes for the family. Special occasion cakes. And festive cakes for the holidays. These cakes were created and tested by home economists in the Betty Crocker kitchens and are their personal favorites. No cake decorating experience is needed to create these cakes, and we make it even easier with quick, convenient Betty Crocker Super Moist Cake Mixes, Betty Crocker Frosting Mixes, and Betty Crocker Creamy Deluxe Ready-to-Spread Frosting. We've also included a decorator frosting recipe for some special decorating applications. Delicious Betty Crocker mixes take the trouble out of baking and let you save the creativity for the decorating techniques we'll be showing you. But before we begin, let's talk about some basic techniques that are an important part of achieving successful results in your decorating. To prepare a layer cake for decorating, brush off the loose crumbs and place the layer on a plate, rounded side down. If you want to keep the frosting from getting on the plate, place your cake on 4 strips of wax paper arranged on a plate like this. When the cake is frosted, pull out the strips and you'll have a clean plate. The key to a nicely decorated cake is proper frosting. A turntable or Lazy Susan plate makes cake frosting easy. Using a flexible metal blade spatula, spread about 1/3 cup of creamy frosting over the top of one cake layer to within about 1/4 inch of the edge. Now place the second layer rounded side up on the first layer so that the 2 flat sides are together with frosting in between. Spread a very thin layer of frosting on the side of the cake to seal in the crumbs. Now spread more frosting on the sides using upward strokes. Make a rim about 1/4 inch high above the top of the cake. Spread the remaining frosting on the top just to the built-up rim. This will give you a nicely shaped frosted cake. You can make swirls on the top or leave it smooth for decorating. To frost a rectangular cake, place the cake top side up on a plate or tray. Or you can leave the cake in the pan and frost only the top. For decorating cakes, you may need a scratch recipe. Included in the insert with this video is a recipe for frosting that we recommend. We'll be using this special decorating frosting later in the video. Some of the cakes that we'll be creating will require the use of a decorating bag and some special tips. A decorating set will include directions for assembly and use. Many come with disposable bags, which are especially convenient when using different colored frostings. When tinting the frosting, 2 types of colorings are available: liquid and paste. Paste food color results in vivid or deeper food colors. These can be found at cake decorating or specialty food stores. We'll be using both types of colorings in this video. Also, it's important to remember that tinted frosting darkens slightly as it sets. Now that we've covered the basics, we're ready to have some fun decorating. So let's get started. Children are the perfect audience for creatively decorated cakes. It's easy to turn round and rectangular cakes into animal shapes and party fantasies with tinted frosting and candy decorations. This balloon cake is a favorite for children of all ages. To make this cake, you will need the following: a Betty Crocker Super Moist Cake Mix. Any flavor is fine. We used a yellow cake mix. A package of Betty Crocker Vanilla Frosting Mix or a tub of Betty Crocker Creamy Deluxe Vanilla Ready-to-Spread type. 5 large gumdrops and 6 pieces of shoestring licorice. Bake and frost the cake as demonstrated earlier. Smooth the side of the cake. Then smooth the top easily by turning the cake while smoothing the frosting in a circle to the outside edge of the cake. For balloons of bright colors, cut large gumdrops crosswise into halves. Flatten each bottom half with a rolling pin on a sugared surface. Arrange the flattened gumdrops on the top of the cake in a cluster to resemble balloons. For balloon strings, place one end of each shoestring licorice on the cake touching a gumdrop. and bring all the strings to one point at the edge of the cake to resemble balloons tied together with strings as shown. You may wish to tie a licorice knot at the end of the strings. Arrange candles around the balloons according to the age of the child. With this cake as a centerpiece, you can theme your party around balloons. Use lots of balloons for decoration or present helium-filled balloons as party favors. This rectangular zoo cake makes a terrific follow-up to that birthday trip to the zoo. Or create a zoo theme party with animal masks for the children. Baked in a 13 by 9 inch rectangular pan, this cake will yield 15 servings. For this cake, you will need a Betty Crocker super moist cake mix of any flavor. We used milk chocolate. A tub of Betty Crocker Creamy Deluxe ready-to-spread milk chocolate frosting or a package of Betty Crocker milk chocolate frosting mix. About 10 animal crackers and assorted multicolored gumdrops. When the cake is cool, frost the sides and the top as demonstrated. Frost the sides smoothly and run your spatula or knife back and forth across the top. Place animal crackers upright, 1 or 2 inches apart around the top edge of the cake, pressing gently into the frosting. Next, place gumdrops between each cracker. Insert candles in additional gumdrops according to the age of the child and arrange them on the cake. For a change of pace, make decorated zoo cupcakes and watch them disappear. And there you have it. It's easy to do and a lot of fun for the children. This panda cake is also a good cake for birthday parties because it yields about 15 servings. To make the party even more fun, do all the decorations in black and white, or ask the kids to come dressed in panda colors. For this cake, you'll need a Betty Crocker super moist chocolate-flavored cake mix. We used devil's food. For the frosting, use 1 package of Betty Crocker fluffy white frosting mix. You'll need 1 cup of flaked coconut, 8 chocolate cookie wafers, about 2 inches in diameter, 1 large marshmallow, a small black and a small red gumdrop, black shoestring licorice, and 2 teaspoons of cocoa. Prepare and bake an 8-inch round cake layer and a 9-inch round cake as directed on the package. After the layers are cool, cut a small piece like this from one side of the 9-inch layer using a sharp knife. Place the layers on a tray or aluminum foil covered board and join the 8-inch layer to the cut section for the head of the panda. Prepare fluffy white frosting as directed on the package and frost the entire cake. You may want to use the wax paper tip mentioned earlier to keep your tray clean. Press 2 of the wafers into the top of the head for ears. Place 2 wafers for the background of the eyes and 4 on the body for paws as shown here. Cut the marshmallow crosswise into halves and place each half on a chocolate wafer for eyes. Cut the small black gumdrop crosswise into halves and with a touch of frosting, place the halves on the marshmallow for the pupils. Use the small red gumdrop for the nose and the shoestring licorice for the mouth. Outline the 4 paws with the black licorice using the wafers as guides. Toss 1/2 cup of coconut and the 2 teaspoons of cocoa in a small bowl to tint the coconut brown. Carefully sprinkle the tinted coconut within the outline of the paws. Sprinkle the remainder of the body with 1/2 cup of white coconut. Gently pat the coconut into the frosting. When completed, the panda should look just like this one. Kids just love cakes that look like animals or toys. And as you can see, that's easy to accomplish with frostings and imaginative garnishing with licorice, gumdrops, and other favorite candies. Cake is a favorite dessert with everyone, and the cakes in this next section are certain to generate rave reviews from your family and friends. This fruit and cake combination is perfect for summer occasions and garden parties. It showcases your favorite fresh fruits elegantly. For this cake, you will need Betty Crocker Super Moist Yellow, White, or Golden Vanilla Cake Mix. For the frosting, use 1 tub of Betty Crocker Creamy Deluxe Vanilla Ready-to-Spread Frosting, or 1 package of Betty Crocker Vanilla Frosting Mix, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. For best results, use soft, fresh fruits. Use your favorite fruits of the season. Look for colorful combinations such as strawberries or raspberries, peaches, blueberries, and kiwi fruit. Using cool cake layers prepared and baked as directed on the package, we're going to frost this cake a little differently. First, mix 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon into the tub of vanilla frosting. This will give the frosting a subtle taste of cinnamon that will complement the fruits. Spread about 1/3 cup of frosting between the layers. Frost the side of the cake generously, using a flat spatula and a broad swirling motion as shown. Then spread a thin layer of frosting over the top. Now arrange the fruit in an attractive design on the top of the cake. If desired, melt about 1/4 cup of apple jelly and brush on top of the fruit. This will give the fruit an especially attractive, shiny appearance. This cake is best when served immediately after the fruit has been put into place. You may wish to prepare and frost the cake ahead of time, and then add the fruit right before serving. Refrigerate any remaining cake. If you're a chocolate lover or know a chocolate lover, this triple chocolate cake will quickly become a favorite and satisfy the cravings of even the most demanding chocoholic. For this cake, you will need any Betty Crocker Super Moist Chocolate Flavor Cake Mix. We used Devil's Food, a tub of Betty Crocker Creamy Deluxe Chocolate Ready-to-Spread Frosting, or a package of Betty Crocker Chocolate Fudge Frosting Mix, and 1 thick bar each of milk chocolate and vanilla candy coating, commonly referred to as white chocolate. Prepare and bake the cake as directed on the package. Frost the cool cake layers with the chocolate frosting. Frost the side with upward swirls. Then, using broad strokes, swirl the frosting from the edge of the cake to the center as shown. For the finishing touch, place milk chocolate and white chocolate curls over the center of the cake. Chocolate curls are simple to make after a bit of practice. The key is to use the right type of chocolate. Milk chocolate is best, and to have the bar slightly warm. If you are having difficulty forming the curls, the bar probably isn't warm enough. Let the chocolate bar stand in a warm place for at least 15 minutes to soften it, or hold it in your hands until warm. To make the chocolate curls, place the chocolate bar on a piece of waxed paper. Using a vegetable parer, press firmly against the chocolate and pull it towards you as shown here. Thicker bars of chocolate will result in larger curls. Serve this cake at your next gathering of chocolate fanatics. It is guaranteed to stop them in their tracks. This Fiesta cake loves a party. Its individually decorated sections give everyone their own decorated flower. Serve this versatile cake at your next luncheon, shower, anniversary, or birthday. Notice that the cake has been tinted in a marble effect with the same colors as the frosting decorations. We'll show you how this is done. For this cake, you will need a Betty Crocker Super Moist White Cake Mix, 2 packages of Betty Crocker Creamy Vanilla Frosting Mix, and red and green food color. You will also need decorating bags and star and leaf tips. Prepare the cake batter as directed on the package, but before you pour the batter into the batter pan, divide it into 3 equal parts. Tint 1 part pink, using 2 or 3 drops of red food color. And tint 1 part green, using 2 or 3 drops of green food color. Drop the batter by alternate color spoonfuls into a greased and floured 13 by 9 inch rectangular pan as shown here. Bake and cool the cake as directed on the package. Remove from pan and frost the sides and the top of the cake with 1 package of vanilla frosting. Keep the top and the sides smooth for decorating. We are now ready to use our decorating bag and tips. Decorating bags used for cake decorating include the reusable plastic-coated decorating bag or the disposable parchment paper or plastic bags. The plastic-coated decorating bag can be used with or without a coupler. The coupler saves time by enabling you to change decorating tips and still use the same bag of frosting. Follow instructions in your decorating kit for insertion of the coupler. Prepare the second package of vanilla frosting mix. Fill decorating bag with 1 cup of vanilla frosting and place on the star tip. For this cake, we are using star tip number 18. To fill the bag with frosting, fold down the open end of the bag to form a cuff, about 2 inches wide. Fill the bag no more than half full with frosting. To close the bag, unfold the cuff and twist the top of the bag, forcing the frosting down into the tip. Continue to twist the end of the bag as you decorate. Using a ruler as a guide, divide the cake into 15 servings and mark dividing lines with wooden picks. Using the star tip number 18, pipe shell borders along the dividing lines. To make the shell border, hold the bag at a 45-degree angle and squeeze out the frosting with a steady, even pressure to create a full base. Decrease pressure, drawing frosting to a point. Begin the next shell directly over that point. You may wish to practice first on wax paper. Complete the outside border next, and then the bottom edge. Be sure to keep the frosting covered with a moist cloth or plastic wrap so it won't dry out. Tint 1/2 cup of the vanilla frosting pink, using 2 to 4 drops of food color. Using a clean decorating bag and star tip, make drop flowers. To make the drop flowers, hold the decorating bag straight up with the tip touching the surface of the frosting. Squeeze the bag, keeping the tip in the frosting until the flowers are formed. Stop squeezing and pull the decorating bag away. Repeat this process until you have made a flower in the center of all 15 squares. Tint the remaining vanilla frosting green, using 2 to 4 drops of green food color. Using a clean decorating bag and leaf tip number 67, pipe leaves on the flowers by holding the decorating bag at a slight angle to the surface. Squeeze and hold tip in place to let the frosting fan out to form the base of the leaf. Decrease the pressure as you slowly pull the tip away and lift slightly to draw the leaf to a point, as shown here. Practice it a few times before you apply it to the cake. If you do make a mistake on the cake, gently lift the decoration off the cake with a spatula and try again. Repeat this process until all the flowers have 2 leaves. When finished, you will have a lovely cake that is sure to bring you many compliments. Cake is ideal to serve at almost any celebration, and these decorated cakes will add the perfect finishing touch to graduations, anniversaries, Mother's Day, birthdays, or any special occasion. The arrival of a new baby is a celebrated event, and this baby's bib cake makes the perfect centerpiece for a baby shower or a gift for the new parents. For this cake, you will need a Betty Crocker Super Moist White Cake Mix, 2 packages of Betty Crocker Creamy Vanilla Frosting Mix, and red and blue food color. You will also need decorating bags, writing tip, and star tip. If you want to give the cake an almond flavor, add 1 teaspoon of almond extract to the cake mix and 1/2 teaspoon to the frosting. Prepare, bake, and cool cake layers as directed on the package. Frost the cake with 1 package of vanilla frosting, making it smooth on the side and on the top. Prepare the second package of vanilla frosting mix. Tint 1/2 cup of the frosting blue, using about 4 drops blue food color, cautiously adding the color 1 drop at a time. Pipe 2 blue circles on top of the cake. about 1 inch apart. We are using the number 4 writing tip. As a guide, cut circles out of waxed paper and attach to the cake with wooden picks. Leave a 2-inch opening at the top of the inside circle for the neck. Add lines to complete the neck. Make a loop design on the outer circle for the bow. Make small bows 1 to 2 inches apart on the bib by piping the frosting like this. Pipe the baby's name and birth date inside the bib. Practice printing first on wax paper. Place the writing tip on the cake, pull the letter up, and return to the cake surface. If you make a mistake, just remove the letter and print again. Tint the remaining frosting pink with about 2 drops of red food color. Put the pink frosting in a different decorating bag fitted with a star tip, number 18. Pipe stars at the top of the bib and between each of the bows. Now pipe shell borders around the top and the bottom of the cake using technique learned earlier. If desired, of course, you can reverse the colors and make a pink bib with blue borders. Make sure to take pictures of baby and the finished cake for the baby's photo album. You can decorate a rectangular cake nicely using any message. We've created this one to celebrate a graduation. Or just write the word congratulations on the top, and you've created a cake that is ideal for honoring any accomplishment. This next cake is ideal for parties because it yields about 30 servings. To make this greeting card cake, you will need 2 Betty Crocker super moist cake mixes of any flavor. For ours, we used yellow. And 2 packages of Betty Crocker creamy vanilla frosting mix. To decorate this cake, you will need a special decorator frosting. Use the decorating frosting recipe in the insert and double all ingredients. Use the food colors of your choice. For a graduation cake, you may wish to use the school colors. We are going to use blue, yellow, and green. You will also need decorating bags and a writing tip, drop flower tip, leaf tip, and star tip. Prepare, bake, and cool 2 13 by 9 inch cakes as directed on the package. Remove from the pans. Place the cakes side by side on a foil-covered board. Prepare both packages of the vanilla frosting and frost the sides smoothly with just a thin layer to seal the crumbs. Then frost the top smoothly with the remaining frosting. Prepare the decorator frosting. Tint 1 cup of the decorator frosting yellow, using about 4 drops of yellow food color. Reserve 1/4 cup of yellow frosting for the flower centers. Frost the sides of the cake with remaining yellow frosting, using broad upward swirls. Next, tint 1/4 cup of the decorator frosting green, using about 1 drop of green food color. Using the writing tip number 3, add the stems for the drop flowers. Tint the remaining frosting blue, using about 4 drops of blue food color. Using a drop flower tip, number 217, place flowers on the stems. Make drop flowers by holding the decorating bag upright and placing the tip on the cake surface. Squeeze the bag using a steady pressure until the flower fans out. Lift bag and repeat. Insert the writing tip number 3 and inscribe your message across from the flowers. Script writing requires practice on wax paper first. If you make a mistake, lift the frosting off and start over. Insert the star tip number 18 and pipe a vertical line down the center of the cake. Pipe a shell border around the bottom of the cake edge. Insert the leaf tip number 67 on the green frosting and pipe leaves on the stems and around the flowers. Finally, insert the writing tip number 4 back on the yellow frosting and pipe centers in the drop flowers. This is a versatile cake, and by changing the message, you can use it to celebrate anniversaries, job promotions, or special birthdays. A birthday just wouldn't be a birthday without a cake, and you can easily create one as elegant as any bakery cake. We are going to show you how to prepare the traditional rose-covered cake that you've admired in bakery windows. For this cake, you will need a Betty Crocker super moist cake mix of any flavor. We used a yellow cake mix, and a Betty Crocker creamy vanilla frosting mix. You will also need to prepare a batch of decorator frosting. Directions for this frosting are on the insert included with this video. You will also need food coloring to tint the decorator icing. Use colors of your choice, depending on who you're decorating the cake for and the season of the year. For decorating, you will need a decorating bag and writing tip, star tip, petal tip, leaf tip, and a flower nail. Prepare, bake, and cool cake layers as directed on the package. Remove from pans. When frosting the cake with the vanilla frosting, instead of swirling the frosting, smooth it on the side and top. Tint 1/4 cup of the decorator frosting green. Fill the decorating bag with the green frosting. Using the writing tip number 3, place stems on the cake. Insert leaf tip for later use. Tint the remaining frosting the desired color. We are going to make pink roses, script, and border. Roses aren't difficult to make, but do require practice. The first step involves the flower nail. To use a flower nail, attach a small square of waxed paper to the nail with a small dab of frosting. Hold the stem of the nail between the left thumb and forefinger. Using a petal tip number 104, hold the bag in your right hand with the narrow end of the tip up. If you are left-handed, of course, these directions are reversed. Turn the flower nail counterclockwise and press out frosting in a tiny circle to form the center of the rose. Repeat 2 more times until the rose center is built up. To form the first petal, make a standing half circle to one side of the center, covering about 1/3 of the way around. Add 2 more petals, forming a triangle. Add more petals, overlapping, until the rose is of desired size. Remove the waxed paper with the rose from the nail and let stand until set. For this cake, we will need 5 roses. Generally, odd numbers of flowers work best. Next, insert the writing tip number 3 and pipe on Happy Birthday and the person's name. Insert the star tip number 18 and pipe a shell border on the top and bottom edges of the cake. Place a small dab of frosting on the cake where the rose will be placed to hold it secure. Carefully lift the rose from the waxed paper using a spatula and place it on the cake. Pipe leaves around the flowers and on the stems. We are using leaf tip number 67. The result is a beautiful bakery-styled classic birthday cake. By changing the message, this cake can also be an elegant Mother or Father's Day cake. holidays are an especially fun time to create special cakes, and they add a festive touch to any get-together. We are going to decorate cakes for Valentine's Day, Christmas, and Halloween. For Valentine's Day, here's a scrumptious new way to give your sweetheart hearts and flowers. For this cake, you will need a Betty Crocker Super Moist White Cake Mix, a package of Betty Crocker Fluffy White Frosting Mix, red food color, 4 large red gumdrops, and a large green gumdrop. Prepare the cake batter as directed on the package. Divide the batter equally between an 8 by 8 by 2 inch square pan and an 8 by 1.5 inch round pan. Bake and cool the cakes. Remove from pans and place the square cake on a tray, plate, or an aluminum foil covered board. Cut the round cake into halves and place the cut edge of each half against the sides of the square cake to form a heart, as shown here. You may have to trim the cake. Prepare the fluffy white frosting and tint pink by adding about 6 drops red food color, a drop at a time. Frost the sides of the cake smoothly and the top using long, swirled strokes, as shown. To make the gumdrop rows, roll 4 large red gumdrops into 1/8 inch ovals on a well-sugared board. Sprinkle them with sugar and then cut ovals into halves. Roll one of the oval halves tightly to form the center of the rows. Place the other oval halves around the center, slightly overlapping. Press them together at the base and then trim the base. For the leaves, roll out the green gumdrop the same way and cut the leaves from the ovals. Place the rows and leaves on the cake and it's complete. Present the cake with a nice card for a truly special Valentine's Day. When the next Christmas season rolls around with its marathon of parties and celebration, this Christmas tree cake will make your get-together a standout. For this cake, you will need a Betty Crocker Super Moist Cake Mix of any flavor. We used yellow, a package of Betty Crocker Fluffy White Frosting Mix, 1 cup of flaked coconut, green food color, 2 candy canes, and red cinnamon candies. Prepare, bake, and cool a 13 by 9 inch rectangular cake as directed on the package. Remove from pan. Now, starting at the middle of one of the 9-inch sides, cut the cake to the corner on the opposite side as shown being done here. Starting at the same point, cut the cake again to the other corner. Arrange the 2 smallest cut pieces on a tray or an aluminum foil covered board, placing the 2 cut sides together to form a triangle. Frost the top with about 1/2 cup frosting. Place on the top layer. You may have to trim the edges of the cake slightly. Then frost the sides and the top of the cake. Pull up the frosting on the sides to form peaks. Shake the coconut with 2 to 4 drops of green food color in a tightly covered container until the coconut is evenly tinted. Sprinkle the tinted coconut evenly over the top of the cake. Insert the candy canes into the end of the tree to make the trunk. Then place the red cinnamon candies on the tree to form garlands. When completed, your cake will look like a Christmas tree decorated for the holidays and ready to place on any festive table. Is anything more fun than a Halloween party with traditional ghosts and goblins mingling with the latest cartoon characters? For these Halloween cupcakes, you will need a Betty Crocker Super Moist Cake Mix of any flavor. We use Devil's Food. A tub of Betty Crocker Creamy Deluxe Vanilla Ready-to-Spread Frosting or a package of Betty Crocker Creamy Vanilla Frosting Mix. Large black gumdrops and red and yellow food color. Prepare, bake, and cool cupcakes as directed. Tint the frosting orange by adding 6 drops each of the red and yellow food color alternately, 1 drop at a time, until the desired intensity is reached. Then frost the cooled cupcakes and decorate with gumdrop cats. To make a cat from a gumdrop, cut the gumdrop into 3 pieces. Use the rounded top piece for the cat's head and the largest bottom piece for the cat's body. Take the middle piece and cut a half-moon shape for the tail and 2 wedge shapes for the ears. To complete your Halloween party, serve with orange punch and favors of gumdrops, candy corn, and nuts. We have shown you several ways in which you can create a festive, delicious cake for just about any occasion. There are, of course, many more ways cakes can be decorated for any number of special events. We've only touched upon the many possibilities. With the help of delicious, convenient Betty Crocker cake and frosting mixes and Creamy Deluxe ready-to-spread frosting, you can use the decorating techniques we've shown to custom design cakes that'll turn any dessert into a party. As you can see, with a few basic decorating skills and a little imagination, you can create beautiful, eye-catching cakes. Is there a birthday, holiday, or other special occasion coming up soon? Why not celebrate with a cake thoughtfully created by you?